Okay, sorry I'm a bit late. We're doing something a bit different today, as you can tell from my voice. I'm still kind of sick. We're going to be playing the Great Ace Attorney because I looked into it and it has voice acting. It's also a game that I've been meaning to play. It's actually the first Ace Attorney game that's come out recently that isn't a remake. Unlike the Phoenix Wright and Apollo Justice trilogies that just got ported over to Steam. Hold on a second, something weird is happening. There we go. But yeah, I didn't want to continue with Cold and Sun while doing this, and as long as I've been sick, I've done all the leveling that I want to in Elden Ring, and it'll also just be nice to be able to just get back and play something and not have to worry about reading. Great. You need to install to start the game. Okay. Wait, video codec. WM video in. Did it? That's weird. Okay, I guess it's installed. I don't know how this is gonna seem, because this is also the first one that's... Can I access any sort of, like, settings? Options. $1920 1080. How do I accept? I have a back button. Enter. E. That is still not correct. Does this think I'm in ultra wide? I hope not. Well, that's definitely not it. Hold up. Oh, the window's not maximizing. Hold on. That's what it is. It's in window, not borderless. There we go. Recent gone is fine. Anti-aliasing gone, I guess, is fine. Reader, story mode, enable story mode in place of autoplay, allowing you to progress the game automatically while pressing any buttons. It handled on your behalf. I'm sorry, give me a moment. I expect that to happen quite a lot. Okay, no, we're gonna keep this normal. Look at my key bindings. Oh. Press review. I don't know what story mode is. F, that is a dangerous key. I'm gonna set that on, like... let's see if there's anything else. Oh, look left and right as B and M. Jeez. I want to place this on, like, this button. I am not allowed to use that button. This button? Nope. Okay, well, I guess we'll just have to hope I never hit F. I like how I can select adventure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Guess let's start with a new game.
The Empire of Japan. After opening its doors, a push for cultural transformation brought great waves of Western influence to this far eastern island nation. The revolution washed over the land, making life in the capital exciting and unsettling. It was a period of great change, and some was swept away by the tide. But for one man, the turbulence of that era was just the beginning of an extraordinary story.
Bienvenue à le carnaval. I think that's 22nd November, 8:43 a.m. Supreme Court of Decatur Defendants Antechamber 5. Oh, this is not voice acted. I still can't believe it. I still can't believe this is happening. I can't be that just beyond the doors of this quiet little chamber. It's the highest court in Japan, waiting to decide my fate. What? Oh, no, nothing. Savior Claire's murderer. Sorry. My name is Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Second year student at the Imperial Yumi University. 2 days ago, someone found myself in a horrifying incident, and now here I am awaiting my trial. I checked trailers for this, and they had voice acting, so I'm really annoyed that this is not voice acted. I may just stop playing, and because, like, I don't know, it's annoying that they would have voice acting, and it's misleading that they have voice acting in the trailer and then not have it in the actual game. He's not voice, so it's such confused. Who are you? I'm this man's lawyer. I'm defending him. Lawyer. Yes, until the judge has given his verdict on the case, no one has the right to treat him as a criminal. So you will hold your tongue. It's technicalities. You haven't even graduated yet. Yet I still seem to know better than you how a court officer should behave. Right, Ryunosuke? Oh, yes, of course, sorry. I'm guessing this guy's our equivalent to Mia Fey. What are you apologizing to me for? No, I suppose that wasn't my fault. But really, cause I never meant to drag you into this. I'm sorry. Oh, we know this guy. Ha ha ha. Oh, there you go. Again, apologizing. Just like always, I must say, been all over the newspapers these past few days. A university professor murdered in cold blood by a student. But obviously, you didn't actually do it, did you? Of course not, you have to believe me, I didn't do it. I could never murder someone. There's nothing to worry about, straighten yourself up, hold your head high. I believe you. I know you're innocent, Ryunosuke. I'm just gonna start calling him Ryu. Kazuma Asugi, my best friend, also second year at Yuma University. He's far more clever than I, a star student, in fact. He's even a qualified lawyer. Impressive considering he's still an undergrad. It's not that impressive. The very concept of lawyers is only a few years old, here in Japan anyway. Wait, were we speaking that out loud? The qualifications don't mean much yet. I thought that was supposed to be internal dialogue. You said exactly the same thing 3 days ago. I'm proud to have a friend like you, Kazuma, truly. 3 days ago, yes. That's when all this started. Congratulations, Kazuma. Looks like you're going to get to study abroad at last. I know, I've been forever dreaming of this day. Finally, those government elites have acknowledged my academic achievements and success in court. So we represented Japan as you immerse yourself in the most sophisticated legal system in the world. I'm really happy for you. I'm proud as your friend. So that's someone in the university who doesn't know Kazuma's name. He's a living legend. It feels as if there's some serious aura billowing around his temple. I want to bring about change in our own legal system. That's why I had to cross the ocean to see the real thing with my own eyes. How did the British Empire? I wish I could see it too. England? Then come with me. We had a wild time tearing up the streets of Her Majesty's city of London together. Okay, yeah, London apparently. If only it were that simple. Oh dear, look at the time. I better get going. Alright, I'll see you later. I think I'll stay and enjoy this place a little while longer. I almost said peace. Good idea. After all, it's not every day you get to visit a high-class Western restaurant like this. See you in the English class tomorrow then, partner. Straight after that, that's when it happened. Well, did we hear a gunshot go off and pick up the gun, and that's why the introductory scene showed us holding the gun? Asogi, may I have a word? Professor, I didn't know you were coming. Well, this gets of personal significance to me. But never mind that for now. Asogi. You should go immediately to the judge's chambers. To Excellency's chambers? Why? I was looking for you before. You advocating for the defense in this trial was a sudden decision. Since there may be some confusion about procedures today as a result. Who is this man? This is what I've seen at my university before. What does options do? Okay, that doesn't bring up court record or anything. It was E to bring up court evidence, right? Let's see, I'll go at once then. I shall accompany you. Alright then, Ryu. I'll see you in the courtroom. Yes, thanks, Kazuma. This is awkward. If I may. Yes, sorry. You must be the defendant. Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Oh, I believe... Yes. Yes, that's right. My name is Eugene Mikotoba. I'm a professor of forensic medicine at Yume University. Professor Mikotoba. I've heard that name from Kazuma before. I started college administration to get the government to agree to Kazuma studying abroad. So he has told me about you and your best friends, I understand. As such, I feel you should know. You know what? Well, as you no doubt heard, Asogi has been granted permission to go and study in Great Britain. However, if he should fail to defend you in today's trial, I'm afraid that permission will be revoked and never granted again. Honestly, it seems while that seems a little extreme, but that's nothing compared to Spirit of Justice, where if you failed to defend your client in court, you also got the death penalty. What? As I suspected, you were unaware of this. I feel like Asogi might have chosen not to tell you. He's agreed to defend me, knowing that if he fails, his dreams will be shattered? But I don't understand. Why would the government do such a thing? The administration is to choose from a large number of applicants for overseas study. Very difficult to persuade them to grant permission, even in the most favorable of circumstances. I don't believe it. But I didn't do it. I swear it. I'm not a murderer. I'm sure that's true. Nevertheless, I can assure you that proving your innocence will be no easy task. You see, there are certain peculiarities about today's trial. Sorry? What do you mean? You'll soon understand once proceedings get underway. But then what should I do? Well, naturally, I'm not going to suggest doing anything that could lead to a conviction. Right, so... As soon as the trial starts, the judge will pose a certain question to the defense. When that happens, you must answer before anyone else. You must say, I do. I do? But what will the question be? Surely not. Do you accept the accusation is brought before you? Of course not. Defendant! The court is about to begin. Proceed to the courtroom at once. It would seem our surreptitious discussions are to be cut short. Can I press E to proceed? I cannot. So allow me to summarize. Kazuma Asogi must not be the defense lawyer in this trial. Of course, as the defendant, the final decision is yours. What are you waiting for? Do you want to be found guilty for failing to appear? Get moving. There's no point in anyone advocating for the rights of you anyway. This is it. This trial goes badly. Kazuma's dreams of studying abroad are over. And what's more, I'll be found guilty of murder. And so, with absolutely no idea of what lay ahead, I embarked on that unforgettable trial. Alright, I'm gonna turn autoplay on just for this one. My one and only chance of proving my innocence. That trial would decide my destiny. I may turn autoplay on just for this one decision, because I genuinely don't know. This is stated as if we're observing... Because generally in Ace Attorney games, you're the attorney doing the defending. But I don't know if this is just like a different one where we're taking like a back seat and we're their like partner or what. So this is a courtroom. The Supreme Court of Judicature. No court in the land has more power. I don't much like the look of those people sitting in the public gallery. Lots of military and other uniforms in there. Powers that be that demanded had demanded that this be a secret trial. A secret trial? A trial that's closed to ordinary members of the public. Only military and government officials may attend. What? But why? That'll become clear in time, but for now, you need to concentrate, Ryonosuke. It's about to begin. Oh, great. It's, Prosecutor Payne, or whatever his name was. The court will now hear the trial of Ryonosuke and Naruhodo. Prosecutor Ouchi. The prosecution is ready, Your Excellency. As is the defense. Before we begin, there is one point of order I would like to confirm. Yesterday evening, the defense made a last-minute request for change of advocate. That's correct, Your Excellency. I made the request myself. All procedures for the defendant's advocacy to be decided 2 days prior to trial. As this is an unusual circumstance, I am obliged to ask for final confirmation now. Who advocates for the defendant in this trial? This is it. This must be the question. Who's going to defend me? That's the question, the professor. But then if I say I do... I need to answer quickly. What should I do? Your Excellency, no confirmation is needed. As I'm standing here right beside the defendant, I hope it's clear who will advocate. Yes. What is the meaning of this unruly outburst? I would like to inform the court that I, Ryonosuke Naruhodo, will be defending myself. It'll be... What? What are you playing at, Ryonosuke? Professor Mikotoba told me everything just now before the trial. He did what? He said that your dreams of studying abroad will be dashed if you were to lose. How sad. It means you don't have faith in me. You think I won't be able to get you off? No, it's not that, really. It's just that... Well, the off chance things don't go well for me. I couldn't bear the reason to be the reason that you... Yes. I knew that's how you'd feel, which is exactly why I decided not to tell you. Professor Mikotoba shouldn't have stuck his nose in. Very well. The court hereby recognizes the defendant's desire to advocate for himself in today's trial. Well, well. Does the accused admit defeat already, renouncing his own counsel? Really? Make no mistake, counsel. This merely shows that the defendant's innocence is so apparent he's confident he can speak for himself. Is that so, Naruhodo-san? Oh, yes, exactly. Alright, we're spaz again. That's what I wasn't thinking, I'm not confident at all. My mind's a complete blank. I realize you're in charge now, but still. Try not to look so bewildered. Well, for a mere university student to be brought before the Supreme Court, you must have perpetrated a most heinous crime indeed. As you are no doubt aware, this is the Supreme Court of Judicature of Japan. Accordingly, the very highest standards of conduct are expected of all present. Do I make myself clear, Defendant Naruhodo? Yes, Your Excellency. Therefore, my duty to assess your competence for the task you have undertaken. My competence? What does that mean? He's questioning your ability to do the job. Well, he can't be questioning it more than I am. So let's start with the very simplest of questions. Oh, yes. Kind of statement before the court the name of the victim in this case. Well, that's easy enough. I've heard his name more times than I remember. But, wait. I'm so nervous I can't even remember that. What was it again? You know, they say that, but we actually have not been given the victim's name at all. Suke, let me guess. Your mind's gone blank? You know me so well. All the relevant information from the case can be found in the court record. But I can't even find that. It's simple. You can access the court record with the press of E. If you ever find you've forgotten something, you can just consult that. It's all in there. You just have to press E for the court record. Alright, there's no time to lose. This is the list of evidence. University collar pin. Now twice. List of evidence you collected now twice, switching to people with E. Find details about the victim here. When done, just go back. John H. Wilson. So everything to do with the current case can be found in the court record. Oops. Now you better not keep us that sensitive waiting any longer. Go on. Find the victim in the people section of the court record, then press R to present. Try it now. So it's R to present.
Yes!
The victim's name was Dr. John H. Wilson. Oh wait, I opened... Ooh! This is important. Death occurred a little after 2 p.m. caused by blood loss from a gunshot wound to the chest. Bullet did not pass through the victim's body. Can I... Okay, I can examine with spacebar. Close range. November. Fatal hemorrhage. Pectoral ballistic trauma. Pectoral means shot, most likely through into the heart. No exit wound, bullet did not pass through the body. Did they not recover the bullet? How's that possible? Well, at least you can remember the name of an esteemed member of your own university. Dr. Wilson was a visiting professor from England and invited to May University 3 years ago. Indeed, which is why this case which is the reason why this case has such profound implications. The British Empire is at present our country's most valuable foreign ally. And as most of you will be aware, we have just signed a new treaty together after lengthy negotiations. There can't be anyone who hasn't heard of the Anglo-Japanese Treaty of Friendship and Navigation. And yet, despite these delicate circumstances, the blood of an Englishman has been spilt on our soil. You two are both undergraduates at Edinburgh University, are you not? Murdering a professor from the very institution that provides your education. Have you no honor? Dishonor upon you and your cow. But I didn't do it. This case is coming under great scrutiny from our allies on the other side of the world. The court therefore wishes for a speedy resolution to this matter. In other words, our feeble government is scared of its heading England's policymakers. And you're a convenient and expendable scapegoat to blame for this crime. So that's why this trial has these unusual peculiarities. Exactly, our government needs to convict someone as quickly as possible, all because the victim was an Englishman. Yes, Dr. Wilson was an Englishman. But nationalities and treaties won't make any difference for me here. The fact is, there at the scene of the crime. Oh dear, look at the time. I better get going. Alright, I'll see you later. I think I'll stay and enjoy this place a little longer. Good idea. After all, it's not every day you get to visit a high-class Western restaurant like this. Soon go fast tomorrow then, partner. British Empire. Wow. It's incredible to think. Wait. What's in that man? University. I'm sure he's a visiting professor from Great Britain. I don't know his name, but still. I should go and say hello. So I went over to the professor's table. Introduce myself to Dr. Wilson. Now then, let me pose my next question to you, Defendant Naruto. Yes, Your Excellency. How did the Professor of Medicine, Dr. John H. Wilson, lose his life? State before the court the cause of death. Cause of death. Well, obviously, that was, protagonist syndrome. Ryonosuke, remember in court every assertion must be backed up by evidence. By evidence? But how? Find the piece of evidence that shows the professor's cause of death and select present. Do it. There. Caused by blood loss from gunshot wound to the chest.
Yes!
I missed the take that. Well, oops. Hold on. I'm pressing all of the, what, I pressed Z and it, I must have, like, fat-fingered window key. Well, according to this document, the victim suffered a hemorrhagic death due to gunshot trauma. Don't you read, you imbecile? That's the post-mortem report, I take it. Sorry, yes, that's right. The, post-mortem report. Autopsy report. Nevertheless, a doctor dissects the corpse to identify the cause of death in an autopsy. Here in Japan, the police officer merely inspects the body and draws conclusions that way. Oh, I see. As long as I'm not going to be tested on any of this later, it's going to be a test every single day of your life going forward, Ryonosuke. This is a so-called photographic print of the scene of the crime. You can clearly discern scorch marks around the bullet hole reduced by the powder explosion. In other words, we should assume that the victim was shot at close range. That's consistent with the report. Thank you, counsel. The judge will accept this modern scientific evidence into the record. Photographic print has been added of the victim has been entered into the court record. I want to take a look at that before we go further. So that's a photographic print. Well, that's something I've never seen before. Did not pass through the body. Gunshot wound to the chest. It did mention close range, right? Single bullet fired at close range, no exit wound. Bullet did not pass through body. Be something weird with this picture. Oops. Figure it out later. Clear spirited drawing. The details incredible. Well, I'm satisfied with your answers. Let us start the trial. Certainly, Your Excellency. So without further ado, in order to better apprise the court with the facts of the case, the prosecution hereby calls its first witness who was there at the scene of the crime when it happened. The defendant? This is it then. I think I may have worked out what the professor had in mind. The professor? Do you mean Dr. Mikotoba? Yes, clearly you're the defense lawyer today, not me, but that doesn't mean... Well, I can still act as your assistant. Ah, of course. When he was speaking with me before, he simply said, Kazuma Asogi must not be the defense lawyer in today's trial. He really has been sticking his oar in, hasn't he? Maybe, but any help you can give me would be greatly appreciated, Kazuma. First piece of advice is rein in that crazy look of bewilderment and control the cold sweats. If you rein in that crazy headband and control the cold stares first. Witness, state your name and occupation for the court, please. Of course, my name is Satoru Hosonaga. I'm the head waiter at a Western-style restaurant called La Carneva. I feel your pain. Blood? Are you alright? Seem to be coughing up some, It's a regular occurrence. It doesn't really bother me. Well, it really should. As everyone knows, the capital's southeastern quarter was developed for foreign visitors some years ago. It's become very fashionable in the district now, full of hotels to accommodate overseas guests. The current crime occurred in one of the district's so-called restaurants, an Occidental eatery 3 days ago. I don't know what he means by the word Occidental. I've never seen that word before. Understood, Hosanaga-san. You will kindly tell the court everything you can about the incident. At once, sir. No petty interjections from the aspiring lawyer boy, please. I will object as much as I am able to. Shot in the chest and subsequently died. Aspiring maybe, but aspire? Just after 2 p.m. on the day in question, we have a few diners. We have few diners at that time of day. Last time rush was over, and there were only 3 tables still occupied. That's my memory of it too. There's hardly anyone else in the place. Just a little after 2. Okay, matches up with the evidence. It was when I was in the kitchen putting away crockery and cutlery. A gunshot rang out, so I hurried to the dining area to see what had happened. I found the victim, an English gentleman, slumped in his chair. And sitting immediately beside him, gun in hand, was the accused university student. Hold on, let me clarify something here. While I did pick up a gun that I found lying on the floor beside the professor, I didn't shoot. Objection! I believe I asked you to refrain from petty interjections. The court wishes to listen to the witness's report of what he saw, you amateur. But eyewitness testimony is usually considered inadmissible in court, by the way, just because people can... human memory is so fickle. Like, it's usually really, really only accepted in, when there's no concrete evidence. But next time you interrupt in an inappropriate time, you will be penalized, Defendant Naruto. Don't worry, okay, you'll have your chance to fight back. For now, we must just listen quietly to the witness. Okay. If I may confirm one point, waiter, standing beside the victim with a gun in his hand was the same man we see here in court today. Yes, without question. I see. And apart from the accused, was there anyone else standing beside the victim? No. There was no one else around that table but the deceased Englishman and the university student. Huh? Wait, what did he just say? There was no one else around that table? Oop. Oops. I don't know what it's wanting me to say here. What's the matter, Ryu? Inosuke? That's just not right. When I went over to Dr. Wilson to say hello, there was a woman sitting opposite him at his table. Really? That's not something the waiter could have missed. I've been warned about interjecting, but still, what should I do? We don't have... Do we have evidence of this other person at the table? See, my problem is we don't have evidence of this other person being present at the table. Wait. What's this? There's another like wine glass or something here. Interjet.
Yes!
Just a moment, please. Oops. Oh, right-click works. Dr. Wilson wasn't alone that day. I'm sure of it. There was a lady sitting with him at the table.
Attention!
Dear me, what are we going to do with you? With your blatant disregard for court proceedings, I'm beginning to wonder if you're not a fraud. Could it be that the accused, this mere student, is not a real lawyer after all? But I'm sure of what I saw. Oh, Osanagasa. Is there any chance you're mistaken? Perhaps your memory of events is hazy? No. The deceased gentleman came to dine alone. I don't believe it. As I have a rough plan of the restaurant, as it was that day. Please, have a look if you'd like to. Let's see, a sketch of the establishment's layout drawn by yourself, I presume? That's right, I'm afraid I used the back of my business card. It was a turbulent situation. However, as you can see, the gentleman in question was seated alone. that doesn't give us any kind of indication of what. What are you talking about? You can't make out anything there other than here is where the body was, apparently. Well, you're clearly a very conscientious waiter. Thank you, sir. The court will take this plan and add it to the court record as evidence. Oh, well, is there a problem? And the plan to the court officer at once. Of course. Here you are. What was that about? He's been completely calm and collected until now. Something certainly seems to have shaken him. Oh, it hasn't actually ended up in our record yet. But his business card has been entered into the record. So, the court has now heard the precis of the case. Yes, at the moment the gunshot was heard in the restaurant. Oh, I understand. There's a facade here. So if he was in the kitchen and ran out into the dining area, he would have had to go from like he would have had to go all the way here, and he wouldn't have had an immediate clear line of sight. Or a better thing would be why did he have to run out into the dining area rather than check out these windows? The moment the gunshot was heard in the restaurant, the only person in close proximity to the victim was the defendant on trial today. It would seem we are looking at a black and white case here. Defendant Naruto. Yes, sir. That's also your guilt at this stage. The court is willing to look mercifully upon you. In other words, you may have some small reprieve in terms of your inevitable punishment. I call this witness as an unsworn witness in order to explain the I call this witness as an unsworn witness in order to explain the details of the case to the court. But I must warn the defense if you are determined to pursue matters further in this trial. The prosecution has decisive evidence from sworn witnesses who were present at the scene of the crime. Let's see this decisive evidence. What do you think I should do, Kazuma? What do you mean? Well, I'm going to be found guilty one way or another, it seems. It would be sensible to plead guilty at this stage and hope for a more lenient sentence. Everyone keeps telling me that this trial is unusual, about these peculiarities. You said it, Professor Mikoto has said it, and so is the judge and the prosecution. I'm scared of what lies ahead if I push this. As I said from the outset, I believe you're innocent. I trust you. Yet, despite knowing that, You're willing now to throw that trust back in my face? Is that it? What? The accused is in fact innocent. The defense lawyer is duty bound to remove that innocence by whatever means necessary. Are you just going to abandon that duty? Are you going to give up on yourself? The battle hasn't even begun yet, Ryonosuke. The defense pleads not guilty, Your Excellency. We invite the prosecution to stop making empty threats and bring out its witnesses. Then we'll see just how decisive this evidence really is. Indeed. Prosecutor Aochi, please continue with proceedings. Well, you were warned. The young can be so reckless. Many call me a saint, but I can be a devil when I want to be. Ugh. In a few short moments from now, that dumbstruck young mouth of yours will be silenced forever. The prosecution calls its next witness. Very well, officer, bring forth the witnesses at once. All of them, all at once. Witnesses, kindly state your names and occupations for the court. Yes, sir. The Great Nippon Imperial Army sorted. Yes, no, sir. Reporting for duty, sir. Myself, I find employees of purveyor fine articles of antiquity from the efflorescence of our nation, Nippon. And I conduct my trade from Rasute, a humble premises in the 2nd District, Kyoryo Korakuta, at your service. Kyoryo Korakuta at your service. An antique dealer and a soldier. What an unusual pairing. Both of these gentlemen were present at the restaurant on the day in question. Didn't you say the restaurant was not that busy? There were only 3 tables? It must be the diners at the other table that the waiter mentioned. Myself, I have truly take tea. You have the most exquisite aroma at the establishment in question, always post noon. And not infrequently converse with interested parties regarding the curios which I make my business. I can't understand a word what that old man is saying. He's an antique dealer, and it sounds like he's a regular at La Carnival. He seeks out potential customers who may have an interest in antiques and tries to sell his wares to them. He obviously targets La Carnival because it's a high-class restaurant with rich clientele. Alright, I see. Although, to be honest, that sort of looks like he'd be a seller rather than, more like he'd be a seller rather than a buyer. Now, you both witnessed the precise moment of this atrocious incident. Is that correct? Affirmative! The enemy unit was seen attacking the foreigner in what could only be described as an act of war, sir. It was that black uniformed rogue infantryman there who unloaded his firearm, sir. Well, hey, look, we're not wearing a black uniform, so that means we weren't the one that did it, right? That acquits us, right? This man seems impossible to understand as the other. I'm almost sure. I heard a strange noise during that last thing he said. So this is the decisive evidence the prosecution was threatening. The soldiers claim that you actually saw the precise moment you shot the victim dead. Yes. Well, are you starting to feel uncomfortable? If I'm honest, I was feeling uncomfortable from the start. Now the court will hear your formal testimony, please. You will state everything you saw at the precise moment that the incident occurred. Sir, yes, sir. Standing by, ready to report, sir. unsavory memories of this acerbic afternoon. Witness testimony. What the witnesses saw. I was ingesting a regulation beef steak at the restaurant while having a tactical discussion with the old man. Myself, I was installing the virtues of a particularly fine golden carrier to the military gentleman. At that precise moment, a firearm was discharged. I observed the enemy's actions with my own eyes. The black uniformed varsity cadet fired on the English civilian, and from the back, like a cowardly little weasel. I really want to just object right away. From the chest. We also have this. Can I okay, I don't have the option to present right away. I was on my hands and knees investigating the whereabouts of my mysterious absconded precious curio. Well, so you, Sergeant, was actually witnessed the vital moment. You saw the split second when the defendant fired the weapon at the victim. Yes, sir. Affirmative, sir. That wicked university cadet, sir. The cruel and unforgivable enemy. What times we live in when an English gentleman may be assailed in the broad light of day. But this is ridiculous. I didn't shoot anyone. Is that really true, Yonosuke? Yes, all I did was pick up the gun that I saw lying on the floor. After I'd said hello to Dr. Wilson, I went back to my table and sat down drinking some coffee. Then when I'd finished, I got up from my seat to leave the restaurant when I noticed an English-made gun next to the chair where the professor was sitting. I thought perhaps the professor had dropped it, so I bent down, and just as I was picking it up, well, if that's the truth, there was obviously a criminal on the scene somewhere else. Somewhere. Like somewhere in these two witnesses' testimonies, there's a clue as to who that criminal was. There is? Yonosuke, you must exercise your right to cross-examine the witnesses. Cross-examine? Do it now. As we have heard, Your Excellency, there is no room for doubt in the testimony of these two witnesses. The defendant is clearly guilty. It is time to bring this despicable student to justice. Certainly, the testimony the court has heard eliminates any vestige of doubt except for the fact that they got the fucking cause of death wrong. Therefore, it is my great duty to declare this trial. Yes. What in the name of the Emperor is the meaning of this outburst? I mean, the defense demands its right to a cross-examination. Dear me, let me guess. The Hachimaki headband boy next door told me to do it. How pathetic. Huh? How did he know? The prosecution objects. This is a clear waste of time. The defendant obviously has no experience. How can he possibly carry out a cross-examination? The defense is asserting its right to a cross-examination. Whether or not you think he's capable of it is irrelevant. Also, we passed the judge's trial and we're allowed to defend ourselves. That's good enough. Kasuma is so commanding. Very well. The defense conduct a cross-examination of the witnesses. Alright, this is where the battle really begins, Yonosuke. But I don't even know what to do in a cross-examination. Isn't it obvious? You have to expose the lies in the witnesses' statements. How? He didn't fire the gun, which means that soldier has to... What that soldier said has to be a lie. Well, yes, but it's just a case of proving it. indicated doing that is evidence. Right, evidence. All you need to do is prevent some decisive and indisputable evidence that proves the witness is lying. Now let's go, Ryunosuke. Don't let them beat you. Alright then. It's all or nothing. Can I don't know how to... We don't know how to press yet, right? Regulation beef steak. Is it stolen the virtues of the curio? Oh, I can press. The firearm was destroyed and observed the enemy's actions with my own eyes.
Yes!
So you're saying that you actually saw me at that time? Affirmative. I saw you, laughing, cackling like a madman, and as you trained the barrel of your gun on the English civilian. That's impossible. I only... Allow me to confirm just one point, please. What's that, Private? Thinking carefully about the statement you just made, it seems to me that it must have been just after you heard the gunshot that you looked over to the victim's table. And so what if it was? Well, if that really is the case, you didn't in fact see the precise moment when the killer actually fired the gun. Arg! Double arg! My sixth sense. Sorry? My sixth sense of danger. I picked up the waves of murderous energy radiating from your foul mind, which means a split second before you pulled the trigger, I was looking right at you, cadet. Sure, that's not really possible, is it? Do you think I would have gotten where I am today in the army if I couldn't sense danger in the air, son? Well, it seems the soldier is absolutely convinced that he saw you do the deed. This is not good. Okay, so I can press from the back. Okay, let's press this. So this black uniform university, you're saying that was... Arg, I've had just about enough of your sauce, cadet. You see anyone else here in a black uniform? Well, there's someone standing right next to me who fits the description as well, but... That was you little weasel. You unloaded the firearm on that man. And from his back. You disgust me. What is it, Ryunosuke? No, I'm not quite sure. It's something that the sergeant just said, but I can't put my finger on it. Something's playing on my mind. In that case, check back over the details of the evidence you gathered in the court record. Find it, yeah, okay, we know this. I just wanted to make sure that... Let's go... Oh, it didn't do the... Listen. Hold on, I know what to do. I was trying to go back to the right statement, and the game just didn't allow it. The question is how... ASD doesn't work? Keys using evidence. Hold on, let me... Gameplay, vibration, well, that should be off. Subtitles on, text skip. Key config. I'm gonna see if I can play this on controller. And see if that does anything better. Nope, doesn't work. Controller not supported, I guess. Whoops. Got the statement, and yeah. Somewhere in there you'll find something that doesn't add up. In other words, an inconsistency. An inconsistency. When you find a contradiction, present your evidence and rip the witnesses apart. Just be careful, because if you assert a contradiction that has no basis, you'll be given a penalty. If you dealt too many penalties, the defense's case will fall apart and you'll receive a guilty verdict. So that's it. Peruse the evidence in the court record and find an inconsistency within the statement. You can hear the statements over and over again as many times as you like. Keep your head up and be measured in your attack. Good luck. Okay, now it's scrolling through. From the back. Let's try this one first.
Yes!
Yes. What are you playing at, cadet? What's the meaning of this subordination? Thrusting this water papers in my mustache. Inconsistency, sir. I mean, yes. There's a clear inconsistency here. What nonsense? What can this document possibly tell us that we don't already know? Well, obviously. That, I know what I want to say, but the words just won't come out of my mouth. I think this proves beyond any doubt, Your Excellency, that there is no place for amateur student here in this grand courtroom. Arg, this is so frustrating. Oh, please. Surely this doesn't require an explanation. It couldn't be more plain. To spell it out would be an insult to the court. Consumer, what? What are you talking about? It's apparent from a single glance at the post-mortem report presented by the defense that there's a clear discrepancy here with this sergeant's statement. What? Sergeant Ayasanosa? Yes, sir. What, sir? The statement you just made was this. The black uniformed varsity cadet fired on the English civilian, and from the back, the cowardly little weasel. Yes, sir. Affirmative, sir. I witnessed the crime with my own military-grade eyes, sir. You might want to get a refund on those military implants.
Yes!
But no, that just can't be. And why not, cadet? Because, as is clearly stated in the post-mortem report, fatal hemorrhage from pectoral ballistic trauma, no exit wound. Bullet did not pass through the body. The photographic print of the victim clearly shows the same thing. Okay, so we could have presented either here, it looks like. The victim, Dr. Wilson, died from a bullet wound to the chest. Ah. Sergeant, according to your witness statement, the culprit shot the victim from behind. And that is the obvious discrepancy here. Well, how do you explain it? What the... What's that? What was that? Something just popped up from behind his back, but he pushed it down again. It was obviously a child. Certainly there is a clear discrepancy with the facts here. Would you not agree, Sergeant Nosa? Yes, sir. At this juncture, that would appear to be indisputable. Until the moment I heard the firearm discharge, my eyes were firmly fixed on the delicious Le Carnival steak, sir. What? The last testimony the court heard has proven one thing beyond reasonable doubt. This witness, Sergeant Iesanosa, did not see the defendant firing a gun at all. Ugh, that's absurd. I think the conclusion we must draw is simple. There's no place for an amateur prosecutor in this grand courtroom. Critical hit. There's been a complete turnabout in the mood of this trial just from that one discrepancy. So this is what being an ace attorney is all about. Hey, they dropped the name of the game. We can leave now. But I definitely saw him. The university cadet there. He was pointing the firearm directly at the victim's back.
Yes!
But I never fired the gun. All I did was pick it up off the floor. You, old man, you didn't see the moment the victim was shot either? Myself, I have already been quite clear. The gunshot interested me not. I was far too busy on the floor. Too busy on the floor? Sorry, what were you doing? Hunting for treasure. Treasure? Indeed. The Hoyera Koban, my prized coin. On each occasion when I visit that restaurant, it is my habit to place in my bosom pocket a particular trinket of interest from my shop, Rasute. Meeting a rich diner who might like to buy it from you? On the day under scrutiny, it was to the military man that I preferred my Hoi treasure. I believe that he would purchase such a rare find. I did not, but I was presented with little alternative. And then, after averting my eyes for the briefest of moments, it was no more. It simply vanished. The Koban vanished. To ground under the table I was in case mayhap it had fallen there, and then it happened. You heard the gunshot, you mean? I did indeed, but I heeded it not, for I was concerned only with finding my absconded Hawaii treasure. Nothing could distract me. Hold on. Oops. I have to progress dialogue here. Out of interest, did you find the coin in the end? No. I see. That lamentable day, the press as well Kaban was lost to me. No doubt some unscrupulous scoundrel pocketed the prize coin for himself, he says, looking at the military dude. As I'm sure everyone present is aware, this case demands a swift and decisive resolution. Our government has promised to send a full report to Great Britain by telegraph this very afternoon. Nevertheless, the witness testimony on the court has just heard was inconclusive. No matter how subservient our government feels it must be to the British, it would be unforgivable to deliver a verdict on this trial right now. What is your position, Prosecutor Ouchie?
Worry not, Your Excellency. The defendant may have fled a tiger at the front gate, but he will find a wolf at the back. My witnesses have further testimony to make.
Explain.
Upon hearing their next statements, it will become abundantly clear that there's only one person who could have possibly committed this despicable crime. Equally despicable defendant Ryunosuke.
What? He seems to have a despicable opinion of you, doesn't he? Ugh. Very well, the court invites the witnesses to testify again. You will thoroughly explain the reasoning behind the prosecution's allegation. Is that clear?
As clear as Kiriko glass, Your Excellency.
Yes, sir. At once, sir. Awaiting signal to testify, sir.
Excuse me, but there's something or someone peeking out over your shoulder, I think.
Affirmative. The newest member of the Nosa family to rise up with the race. Our name, Ido.
It's in the straps are assigned the sergeant. Of the sergeant being too strapped to afford a nanny.
Ido Tien-chun. Your father's about to quell the enemy. Watch and learn, my boy.
The true culprit.
Even if I saw it wasn't the precise moment the firearm was discharged, it's almost the same thing.
Yes, pointing his gun at the foreign man, he was that young lad in black. That much I myself did see.
Furthermore, a visual search of the premises at the time confirmed that we were the only personnel present.
Indeed, alone he was, the Englishman, dining all by himself.
Therefore, no one other than the black uniformed cadet could dispatch the Englishman. Over and out.
Okay, but we already...
I may have to present... This may be getting to the point where I have to present people.
Yes!
Well, this is certainly compelling.
Wait, that's nonsense! The victim, Dr. Wilson, wasn't alone at all. Please, enough of these outbursts already. But there was a woman. There was a young woman at his table. You must have seen her. Everyone there must have seen her.
Objection!
If you call yourself a lawyer, then you will respect the rules of court and speak accordingly. We are not here to listen to your fantasies. Ugh. It is evident beyond all reasonable doubt that the victim was alone at the time of the incident. The prosecution has photographic evidence of this fact.
Who took the photo? What? Is that a photograph? This a photographic print of the scene of the crime council? You know, aside from the fact that there's a whole fucking body missing there.
Indeed, of the table at which the victim was dining, taken by an investigator immediately after the incident.
Whoops. Whoops. But if we look at our photo, you can clearly see something here on the side being cut off.
As can plainly be seen, there's only one place set.
There's some appearance in the front. And everything else, I'm pretty sure is visible, right? Hold on. I guess it could be the thing. The flower vase. It would be reasonable to conclude that the victim was not in the company of anyone else. This doesn't make any sense. The court will add this new photographic evidence to the record. The photographic print of the crime scene has been entered into the court record. I don't understand. Yeah, based off of the positioning. So the thing is, based off of the positioning of the photo, that would, like, with the, assuming the fork is in the same place, then that cut off thing can't be this vase. Or if it is the vase, then it's been moved. I don't understand what's going on here. It's just not possible that nobody else saw that woman. Daughter before said the same thing. He maintains that Dr. Wilson came to the restaurant alone as well. But that's not true. I saw her. I saw a woman with him. It seems we'll be able to telegraph the report to Great Britain on time after all. The witness testimonies would just hardly no further room for doubt. These are very sensitive political times, as we all know. The ink is still fresh on the treaty with Great Britain. To think that I, Tata Suchi Auchi, will have contributed to the that should be amity of these two great empires is an honor. How can this be happening? The judge is ready to rule. We still have a right to cross-examination. Stand tall, Ryunosuke. It's not over yet. What? If what you say is true, then there's something going on here behind the scenes. And now is your chance to expose it, to draw out the truth in your cross-examination. Why does every Japanese attorney, apparently, in this franchise have a katana? It's the case with Simon Blackwell. It's the case with this guy. I'm pretty sure Miles Edgeworth is supposed to be, like, not supposed to be, directly Japanese, but I could be wrong. I don't know, Kazuma. The defense is entitled to cross-examine the witnesses, but make it quick, understood? These rules can be so unbending at times. Ugh. Almost the same thing. I'm just gonna press everything here because I don't know what I'm looking for. No, it's not the same thing at all. For a start, I didn't fire that gun. We have a difference of opinion on that. The opinion of a uniformed officer versus that of a fledgling cadet. No, I don't think so. Consider this, defendant. Just a moment ago, I blinked. Did you? Did you see it? Did you see me blink? How could I? And yet, it is an undeniable fact that I did blink. So there you have it. Or, have what? Attention! The sound of the firearm rang in my ears, and the very next moment, I saw you waving the gun at the Englishman. I think that says it all, don't you? Grr. Let's not forget the antiques dealer witnessed the use of this most incriminating position as well. Isn't that so correct, Kuta-san? Spawn's gun man he was, that young lad in black. That much I myself did see.
Yes!
Yes, it may be true that I was holding the gun at that point in time. But I've already told you that's only because I picked it up off the floor. Obviously, as the culprit, that's the only way you could explain it away. I just finished drinking my coffee and was about to leave the restaurant when there was a gun on the floor at Dr. Wilson's feet, so I picked it up. And at exactly that moment, a gunshot rang in my ears. Full of events beyond our control, life is. Sorry, what do you mean? In your case, you found a pistol on the floor and picked it up, which precipitated this testing predicament. Whereas conversely, I failed to pick up the Coban from the floor and find myself in an equally testing predicament as a result. Anyway, the fact remains, myself I did see you, with pistol in hand standing over the foreigner.
Yes!
Only personnel present. You must have noticed someone else at Dr. Wilson's table. There was a lady there. As you've been at pains to point out time and time again, I feel like growing a callus in my ear. Yet no one else appears to have caught even a glimpse of this woman. If only there were more people dining there at the time, and then someone else would have noticed her. Unfortunately, it was already past 2 p.m. when it happened, the quiet time between lunch and dinner in any restaurant. I know, of course the place was almost empty, it's what you'd expect. Certainly 2 p.m. is neither here nor there in terms of a time to eat. I wonder if there was a reason why the victim was eating at that time of day and why he was alone. Yes, Your Excellency, there was indeed a reason. There was? This was found in the victim's jacket pocket. What does that count? It was a medical report card, Your Excellency. It would seem that the victim had an appointment at a clinic prior to visiting the restaurant. At a clinic? Yes, there would indeed appear to be an entry for the date in question. 20th of November, noon to past 1 p.m. The very day of the incident. So the victim went for a late lunch following his appointment. The explanation couldn't be more simple. The prosecution felt no need to submit this evidence before, as it really has no bearing on this case. I wonder, what do you think, Ryunosuke? Well, it is hard to see how it can be related, really. However, you can request for it to be entered into the court record as evidence if you think it could be useful. Should I ask for the medical report card to be submitted as evidence or not? Yes.
Yes!
If I may, I'd like to ask for that medical report card to be submitted as evidence, Your Excellency. On what grounds? The court has already heard conclusive witness testimony. Additional evidence would be extraneous. Not to mention the victim's movements prior to his arrival at the restaurant are of no concern.
Objection!
Whether they are of concern or is up for us to decide. We have a right to explore all possible avenues. I beg your pardon. You have no authority to refuse a perfectly valid request for the submission of evidence. Very well, the court will grant the defense's request. Youngsters these days are forever asserting their rights. It's a most disturbing trend. Officer, kindly add the victim's medical report. Wow, we don't want to get executed. How selfish of us. Kindly add the victim's medical report card to the court record. Medical report card is added. What we need right now is new clues, which we just got. I can't look at it further. It was found in his pocket. That's 4 things from every possible angle, if that don't seem relevant at first. Right, I hear you. You can conspire to prolong this trial as much as you like, but it's the day after the festival already for you. Or perhaps you'd forgotten that these witness testimonies leave no room for doubt. Feel free to reiterate the accused court in Kuta-san. Indeed, alone he was the Englishman, dining all by himself.
Yes!
So you actually saw that with your own eyes, did you? The victim, Dr. Wilson, was dining alone? That I did. Forgive me for the position I placed you in. Because he was on the floor at the time, right? You know, everyone just completely forgot about that. So the testimonies of the old man and the soldier and the waiter all agree on that point. Isn't that interesting? And let us not forget the incontestable evidence we had to support their statements as well. As can be clearly seen, there's only a single beef steak on the victim's table. A meal for one. No. And Tate Sealer, the sergeant, and the waiter who testified before, it's not impossible that they're all lying. But if so, then why? If I'm perfectly honest, I have absolutely no idea. Therefore, no one kind of over and
Yes!
out. Let's press here. Why aren't you telling the truth? What did you say, Cadet? I clearly remember. There was a woman sitting across the table from the professor. Perhaps one of you might not have known it. But for both of you to have failed to see the professor's diary companion, it's just not possible. One guy with a baby and another guy who literally admitted to being being preoccupied searching underneath the table. Unfortunately for you, defendant Naruhodo, it's just not a case of these 2 witnesses alone. Sorry? The waiter whose testimony the court heard earlier clearly stated the same thing. He also said that the victim was alone. That's right. Precisely. In other words, you are the sole proponent of this phantom lady. But since a woman were indeed present at the scene, the prosecution demands to see proof. No such proof exists. The prosecution demands that no further mention of this phantom woman be made. It is a blatant waste of this court's time. There's nothing I can say to that. That's at work, Ryosuke. We've gleaned some new information now. Well, yes, but I don't feel like it changes much. I can't see that it brings any real discrepancies to light. I wouldn't be so sure. It said till past 1, right? Let me see that medical report card you got before. Oh, you mean this? Oh, great. This guy has to teach us how to fucking read. Great. Yes, this is a brand new piece of evidence, so perhaps we should examine it in a little more detail. How exactly?
You know, some pieces of evidence have a magnifying glass. These are the ones you can examine. Press spacebar and you can take a closer look. Use arrow keys to rotate. We're pressing WASD. We can move the cursor. Hunt for clues that may have been missed before. Crosshairs start to pulsate. Press space to investigate further. Partner, I think you should take a closer look at this medical report card. So there's anything that needs to be learned by examining it in more detail. Alright, I'll see what I can do. I need to use arrow keys, WASD, and space to inspect any areas of evidence that look suspicious. Okay, so first thing I want to do... Hold on, first off, let's... John Wilson Halta Clinic. Required for every medical report card, required for every visit. Dentist. Halta Clinic. Date, blocked out record number, whatever. Let's have a look. This is some kind of medical issue. Ah, there's an entry for the day the professor was killed. Extraction of molar with topical anesthesia. Extraction of molar? You mean he had a tooth taken out? Yeah, and anesthesia, so he wouldn't have been able to go by himself. It would seem so. Just before the incident, he'd had a bad tooth removed. Perhaps they use laughing gas. That's the most modern practice in the West for pain relief. Yes, I've heard of this anesthesia, although it's hard to believe that there's anything that can actually stop you feeling pain. I mean, it doesn't. It just makes the pain less severe. Ah, there's a cautionary note from the medical practitioner as well. Strictly no food or drink besides water for 3 hours post-procedure and until anesthetic effects have passed. Really? Sounds like more information worth bearing in mind. Record of dental work on the day of the murder. The victim had undergone dental treatment and been prohibited from eating or drinking anything but water. This new information, meaning of that one particular statement, totally changes. Sounds like it sounded as his testimony again, don't you? Definitely. Oh, shoot. I went too far. Shoot. I still want to put this in the change. I think the situation's changed a great deal. I'm spam clicking. We have what we need. It's simply a case of using it to our advantage now. There is a discrepancy. Someone prohibited from consuming anything but water when he was shot. He's right. That's that particular statement. Almost the same thing. Alright, I think it's this one. Oops. There. I tried clicking, and that apparently
Yes!
did the same, brought it to examine. Well, I think, what are you wintering, lad? What are you wintering, lad? Call yourself a lawyer? I wish I could, but first and foremost here, I'm the accused. Suki. Everyone stumbles on their words occasionally. Under the circumstances, I wouldn't worry about it.
Thanks, Kazuma. You can see it quite clearly in that cross-examination you just carried out. When you raised your hand straight up like that, so purposefully, you knew exactly what it was you wanted to say. Don't feel like you have to choose your words carefully. Just say what you're thinking. Alright, thanks for the advice. You no good lying pieces of... Kurotaka-san, this is a medical report card belonging to the victim. Ah, I see. Yeah, I see. And I don't see. What of it, boy? Compare what is written on this report card with your witness statement. Something clearly doesn't add up.
Objection!
Dear me, have you forgotten my words so soon, you amateur? Sorry, what? You are not to interrupt court proceedings with your amateurish drivel. But let's see if I can explain it in words you might understand. It was after 2 p.m. in the afternoon that the victim was murdered at the restaurant. Whatever he may or may not have done before that time is completely irrelevant. But that's false. Remember, Inosuke, you don't have to use clever language or fancy words. Just make your point. Your Excellency, I believe we're finished here. There is surely no need to prolong this trial further. The witness testimonies the court has heard have been clear and concise. Aside from the fact that they've both been wrong. They've been completely wrong and are questionable at best. This medical report card has no bearing on the matter at all, for the simple reason that there is no one else besides this pale-faced pupil who could have possibly... This medical report card has nothing to do with the case? Do you really believe that? What? That perhaps petrified me, boy! Of course I believe it. How could it possibly be relevant? Perhaps because Hata Clinic, which issued the report card, is a dental clinic. A dental clinic? Is that supposed to mean something to me? Perhaps if I told you that the victim had just had a tooth extracted? What's this now? And furthermore, if I told you that as a result the victim had been forbidden from eating... Just what are you trying to say, cadet? He had orders not to eat, so what? It's all written up in the... here. No food or drink other than water for 3 hours post-procedure while the anesthesia wears off. What? No, that can't... Korakuta-san. What, boy? What? As you just heard, when he was killed sometime shortly after 2 p.m., the victim couldn't have been eating anything at all. No. Additionally, there's more. You have assured the court with unwavering self-confidence that the victim was dining alone. But that cannot possibly be the case. Because the victim, as we know, had just had one of his teeth extracted and was still experiencing the effects of the anesthetic. Arrgh! Expertly done, partner.
Objection!
What is this nonsense, you little upstart? These are baseless accusations. Just look at this photographic evidence. You can clearly see the plate of food at the victim's table.
Objection!
Use your head. That's the very discrepancy we're talking about. Or can't you follow the logic? How dare you? I think it's fair to say that the tables at this restaurant case have turned. Don't you agree, Ryunosuke? Yes, most definitely. So, having just undergone some dental surgery, the victim was unable to eat. So use one very crucial conundrum. who in fact was eating the pictured beefsteak. The court will hear the opinion on the defense of this new puzzle. I assume you're ready, counsel? Counsel? Oh, that means me, doesn't it? Alright, and the answer to this question is going to be pivotal. This is the start of you turning this trial around. Show them what you're made of. Got it. So, person eating at the visitor's table must have been, as of yet, unknown third party. Obviously, it could only have been someone else who was sitting at the professor's table. You will not let this go, will you? There was no such person. There was, because I saw her. When the incident occurred, we know that the victim couldn't have been eating anything. Yet we have evidence of a half-eaten steak on his table. Therefore, the only logical conclusion is that there was somebody else there eating it. We have strong evidence to support our assertion. It's clear that these witness testimonies are unreliable. The court decides to push through a ruling at this stage. We will lodge a formal complaint with the Ministry of Justice in pursuit of fair retrial, relentlessly. Kazuma, are you insane? You would take on the government? Don't worry, Counsel. I have no issue with you. What do you mean? I have issue with them. Those two witnesses in the stand. What? What? What are you talking about? We demonstrated with evidence that the victim was not alone. So if it now turns out that the two of you deliberately lied when giving your testimonies, obviously you'll be charged with perjury. Perjury? And since this is a murder trial, you'll also be deemed complicit in the killing. Complicit in murder? No! Alright, this one is them or me. Negative. There was no mention of this at the tactical meeting. I was just following orders. That's right, that's the man says. Just say you never saw the gentleman. That's what they told us. Oh. What? What did you just say, Korkuta-san? No. You were just following orders? No, hold on, Rad. I was... Say you never saw the gentlewoman? Grr. When you say gentlewoman, do you mean... You saw the victim with a lady from overseas? Okay, we never specified that she was from overseas. What?
Objection!
What is the meaning of all this? So did he also see the woman and is just not speaking up about it this entire time? These witnesses gave false statements? Is this true, you pair? Just one simple slip of the tongue. Order. Counsel, explain what's going on here. It's painfully clear now. You tried to prevent these witnesses from telling the truth. Absolutely not. The prosecution knows nothing of this. Then who's behind this? Who tried to make you keep your mouth shut? Well, that's classified. So you're prepared to be tried as a conspirator to this murder, are you? You wouldn't... This can't be happening. Ryonosuke, judging from the way they're reacting to this, I'd say they were sworn to silence by someone with considerable influence. However, I don't believe our Ouchie had any idea about it. What are you saying? I mean, to wield that kind of influence, there are only a handful of possibilities. It could only have been the government, the military, or the police, I suppose. clues. Well, any ideas of who might be behind this? If we can confirm who tried to silence these witnesses, then we can continue our pursuit. So I need to name whoever it was that tried to keep the witnesses, make the witnesses keep their mouths shut. Of course, we'll need evidence before we make any firm accusations. Evidence that prove whoever did it really did wield his or her power here. Kitchen entrance. Oh wait, we haven't actually looked over this. Chief Inspector Satoru Hosanaga, Primary Criminal Investigation Department, Imperial Police Bureau. That's important. But how? How can we possibly... Where have we made progress before? We examined this piece of evidence in more detail and found a new clue as a result. Oh, yes, that's right. That's not the only piece of evidence we have, is it? We should re-examine everything and make sure there's nothing we've missed. There's no time to lose. I want answers. It's proven that these witnesses have been manipulated. I assure you the penalty will be severe. Please, wait. Your Excellency, I had no idea about any of this. I swear to every Shinto god, I know nothing! What does the defense have to say about this? Well, Your Excellency, I'm trying to think. I'm just gonna have to close my eyes and shout the first thing that comes to my head. Besides the prosecution, the only person with the necessary to influence the witnesses would be Satoru Hosanaga.
Yes!
Well, surely that would be Satoru Hosanaga-san. Hosanaga-san, the waiter who took the stand earlier.
Attention!
Poppycock! What possible reason would the waiter have to make these witnesses give false testimony? Not to mention the fact that even a head waiter could not possibly have that level of influence. For once, I would agree with you. If, that is, the man truly were a waiter. What? If he truly were? Come on, Ryunosuke, time to hit this court with the truth. The truth about Satoru Hosanaga's real identity is proven by this evidence. This one, and then... Hold on. Let me make sure I don't have to, like... Well, that's unexpected. What does it look? Do you see the witness's name here? Satoru Hosanaga. This due to show the name. That's the point. Nothing new. It's unexpected. It's his job title. His job: Chief Inspector, Primary Criminal Investigation Division. Inspector. What on earth? I have no idea. But let's face it. Police have a lot of power and influence if they're wielding it somehow here. Ah, there we go. The waiter's business card information. Okay, yeah. So it's very important that I did that first. Whoops. Because that actually is what tells the game, hey, I've seen this and know it.
Yes!
Find the restaurant sketched by the man in question. I agree it shows a great deal of attention to detail, but I'm not sure we can conclude anything. Sorry, Your Excellency, it's the back of, that's the back of the card. It's the back of the card that's of interest. I beg your pardon? Turn the card around and read it. Perhaps I should have said the front? Yes, it's the front of the back of the card. That's where the telling detail is. I'm still just as confused as I was 30 seconds ago. Would somebody please explain what this overexcited student was trying to say? Hosonaga-san sketched the plan of the restaurant on the reverse side of his business card. The front of that business card reveals the man in question's profession, his true profession. The waiter's profession? But that's surely... Good gracious! That's right, Your Excellency. The card reads Chief Inspector, Primary Criminal Investigation Division, Imperial Police Bureau. What? The waiter is a police detective? I haven't heard any mention of this before. Why haven't I heard any mention of this before? The Imperial Police Bureau has immense power, absolute power as far as regular civilians are concerned. So witnesses there in the stand. Was it in fact the waiter who gave you your orders? Was it he who told you not to mention that you'd seen this foreign gentlewoman at the scene? Well... Hold it! Inspector Hosonaga. I was worried something like this may happen. The moment you asked me to submit my sketch as evidence, I realized it was a possibility. The court will take this file and add it to the court record as evidence. Oh, well... Is there a problem? Hand the file over to the court officer at once. Of course. Here you are. Yes, I remember now. He did act strangely when the judge asked him to hand over his business card. I tried to carry out all investigations flawlessly. It's my guiding principle. I let myself be distracted when I made that sketch. It was an unusually careless mistake. So, you mean to say you really are a detective? But why would a detective be working posing as a restaurant waiter? Ah, of course. Your salary must be terrible. I was working undercover. Undercover? Yes, there have been a series of incidents at the restaurant recently. In order to investigate, I decided to get a job there as a waiter working undercover. Incidents at the restaurant? What kind of incidents? That would be classified police information, which I'm not at liberty to divulge. However, I can state categorically that they are unrelated to this case of homicide. Very well then, Inspector Hosonaga, but you will elaborate on one point for the court. Of course, Your Excellency. We've just heard new information from the two witnesses beside you. That at the time of the shooting, there was in fact another person present at the victim's table. If that is indeed true, clearly you would also have been aware of this person's presence, having served at the table in question. However, your testimony did not allude to this other diner. Therefore, I am led to assume that in your professional capacity as a police officer, you required these witnesses to be in agreement. Would that be correct? Correct, Your Excellency. Unbelievable. As I suspected. As soon as I heard the gunshot, I ran out of the kitchen to see what had happened. The victim sat slumped in his chair, and beside him, a gun in hand, stood the accused student. Sitting opposite the victim at the same table was a young lady whom I guessed to be an English woman. So the truth comes out. I immediately sealed off the restaurant and reported the incident to the bureau. Then I received some special orders. Special orders? You mean to say, remove the English woman from the scene at once? It was was made clear that the English woman's presence at the restaurant was to be concealed. Those were my orders.
But what if this English woman was the killer?
I think it would be in everyone's best interest not to pursue that idea. The Empire views the friendly terms of its relationship with Britain more highly than anything at the moment. An English man has been murdered from our soil. To name an English woman as the primary suspect. Well, without irrefutable evidence, that would be completely out of the question. So that's the reason for the disappearance of the Phantom Woman in this case. But it's not right. One possibility does spring to mind. What do you mean, Kazuma? Maine University is currently hosting a number of exchange students from Great Britain. I'm fairly certain that one of them, studying in the medical facilities research laboratory, is a young English woman. What? You're a shrewd man. I can see why you're the chosen candidate for the overseas study tour. You mean... When I removed the woman from the scene of the crime, I thought it prudent to check her identity first. Then the court demands that you name the lady in question at once, Inspector. The English woman sitting at the university professor's table was a certain Miss Giselle Brett. She is indeed a foreign student with a really insane name, studying in the research laboratory of Human University's medical faculty. What is happening here? I admit that under orders from the police bureau, I erased all evidence of this lady's presence at the scene, and ordered these witnesses to make no mention of her in their testimonies. It must now be up to your excellency to decide how to deal with this situation. Very well, my thoughts on the matter are as follows. Thus far, the case presented to the court has been underpinned by a particularly critical premise, namely that the victim was dining alone. However, as we've now discovered that this premise is false, it would be a desecration of our justice system to ignore the truth and give it a ruling at this point.
Objection!
But Your Excellency, that would mean missing the noon deadline of a ruling in order to send the telegraphic report to Great Britain. Our government will surely be very displeased by such actions.
Calm yourself, Counsel. Will not allow the government of our country or any other to influence the proceedings of my courtroom. Inspector Hosanaga? Yes, sir. You will locate this Giselle Pratt and escort her to the courtroom with the utmost urgency. At once, Your Excellency. But that means you'll be going against the special orders you were given from the police bureau. As I've said before, it is my guiding principle to carry out all investigations flawlessly. So it won't be a problem. As you continue to cough up blood, you should really go to a doctor about that if you haven't already. Nothing will get in my way. Not even falling over and dying, I guess. Court will adjourn briefly. The prosecution must call the student Giselle Brett to the witness stand. Try to make myself clear. Yes, Your Excellency. Good. Then we'll have a 30-minute recess before reconvening. be continued. Save current progress. We will, but I'm going to end the episode here and pick back up on YouTube next time. Alright, so BRB YouTube.